Hello everyone, Weather Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on the weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Tuesday evening, September 24, 2024. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video. I'd really appreciate it if you guys get this video up to 100 likes. If you don't know by now, that's how the YouTube algorithm works. We all like the video and then the YouTube algorithm pushes the video out to more persons who are in the path of these tropical systems so that we can keep everyone safe, especially during the peak of Atlantic hurricane season. That's August through to October. Share this video with your friends, your co-workers, your relatives, and even your church brethren, and subscribe if you haven't yet done so. Leave a comment down below, letting me know what the last be like in your year recently. Also, feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. Alright, let's just take a look at the U.S. National Hurricane Center 7-day graphical tropical weather look. And we can see that as of their latest update that just came out at 7:51 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, which is actually 6:51 p.m. Jamaica time, we can see that we still have Tropical Storm Helene right here across the Western Caribbean. And we also have that area across the main development region that still has a high chance of development as it pushes towards the west-northwest. And if we take a look at the visible satellite images of the Atlantic before the sun went down, we can make out both of these entities. We have the clouds associated with Helene. Helene is very big, as we can see here. Lots of clouds, showers and thunderstorms spiraling into the center, stretching all the way from Jamaica. We see Jamaica right here. We see the spiral banding heading into the system in general. Lots of shower and thunderstorm activity near the center as well. We can see the clouds associated with that tropical wave that has a high chance of development right there to the west of the Cabo Verde Islands as well. But as we can see by the tilt of what the Hurricane Center had highlighted, it's definitely going to be missing the Caribbean, making more of a west-northwestward kind of motion in general. So that's just going to be a fish storm. But if we focus our attention on Helene, as of right now, she's packing maximum sustained winds of 60 miles per hour. That's as of their latest update that just came out at 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, which is actually 7 p.m. Jamaica time. She is moving towards west-northwest at 12 miles per hour. And we see that they have a hurricane warning in the red up for a portion of the Yucatan Peninsula, so to a tropical storm warning. We can also see a tropical storm warning up as well as a hurricane watch up for western Cuba. And we see numerous of the same across portions of the Florida coast, the Panhandle, the western portions of the Florida Peninsula. And we can also see a tropical storm watch in the yellow right there on the eastern coast of Florida. We know that there are a lot of Jamaicans who live or work in Florida, so please ensure that you're speaking to them, getting them, alert to know that there's something coming, and we know how these things go. And considering that it is forecast to be an M, we know that the M represents a major hurricane. So it's a tropical storm right now, expected to become a hurricane by Wednesday by 2 p.m. according to this latest update from the Hurricane Center. And then a major hurricane by 2 p.m. on Thursday as it heads inland into the southeastern United States. This is definitely a bad situation in general. We can see the tropical storm force winds extending out, especially on the north, south, and eastern portions of the center, as represented by those gold colors. Definitely a bad situation unfolding, and it's not only about the strong winds that are expected, considering that it's going to be a major hurricane of category 3 to 5 strength, somewhere around there. Not sure yet what it's going to be, but we see that there's a lot of rainfall that's going to be expected across those spots. The greens, the yellows, oranges, that represents anywhere from 1 all the way up to 12 inches of rainfall possible in some spots. So it's definitely going to be a very bad situation in general. If we take a look at the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening, we can see that apart from Helene across the Western Caribbean and the tropical wave that we highlighted right there to the west of the Cabo Verde Islands, we still are being dominated by a ridge of high pressure to the north that we know is responsible for sending all of these entities from east-west across the main development region. And we can also see a tropical wave right here to the east of the Caribbean. And if we take a look back at the visible satellite images of the Atlantic before the sun went down, we can see the clouds associated with this tropical wave. Definitely a huge amount of moisture associated with the tropical wave. And the supercomputer models are actually developing this tropical wave sometime within the next week somewhere across the Caribbean. So it's only a matter of time before the Hurricane Center possibly puts a code yellow on it. I don't even want to show what the supercomputer models are showing, because we know how these things go. They show something, and then the next run in the next 6 hours it updates and shows another thing. Either way, we have to stay updated to see what's unfolding. And right now, there's a lot of rainfall associated with the tropical wave that's definitely affecting portion of the Eastern Caribbean right now. It's gonna be slow to get to our area, so we just have to pay close attention. Loss of moisture, something is going to be developing for sure, especially considering that we're at the peak of hurricane season in general, just past the peak, but we're still there. We're heading down the hill, but things aren't just going to be wrapping up because the peak has passed. We're definitely in for some more systems as we continue through to October and November. So we definitely have to stay alert, and I'll definitely be here to keep you posted with what occurs. We'll be talking more about the rest of the Caribbean today later on. Let us focus our attention on the prediction that was made in yesterday's video about the weather across Jamaica for today, Tuesday, September 24. It was stated that parts of most parishes in Jamaica would have received some rainfall throughout the day in general, but I definitely mentioned that you should take the forecast with a grain of salt, because with these systems, it could be a case like maybe rainfall in the night, and then during the morning, cloudy conditions throughout the day with all of the rainfall out to sea, or maybe we get some rainfall in the afternoon or the evening. And that was exactly what happened throughout the day. It was definitely mostly cloudy, but considering the spiral banding that we just saw on the system, we know how these things go. All of the air in the lower levels of the atmosphere are wrapping around the system in a counterclockwise fashion. So Jamaica would be getting in on more of that southerly, if not southeasterly, low-level flow, bringing more in the way of rainfall, especially across southern parishes in Jamaica. And by the way, we know southern parishes, we're talking about those parishes on the bottom side, like Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth, Manchester, Clarendon, St. Catherine, Kingston, St. Andrew, and St. Thomas. And more of that would have especially been affecting western Jamaica, considering that most of the clouds were across the waters to the west of us. I know western Jamaica, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Cornwall, like Hanover, Westmoreland, St. James, Trelawney, and St. Elizabeth. And what ended up happening throughout the day, it was mostly cloudy for the most part, but at around 3:25 p.m. the infrared satellite image was posted here on our Twitter page. By the way, keep in mind that these posts aren't only made here on our Twitter page at Weather Jamaica, but they're also made on our Instagram page at weather.jamaica, on our TikTok page at Weather Jamaica, and on our Facebook page at Weather Jamaica 876. So if you have one of those social media platforms, please ensure that you follow us there, as we make posts throughout the day that you can't afford to miss. So we saw the infrared satellite image that was posted at around 3:25 p.m. and highlighted the deep convection associated with the outer bands, the spiral band of Tropical Storm Helene. Look at this. This is as bad as it gets. Look at the scale. This definitely shows that we definitely got some very bad weather across western Jamaica for sure, because most of this definitely spiraled up into western Jamaica from south to north. Definitely a bad situation, and we can see the blues, the greens, yellows, oranges, and reds, not to mention the blacks that represent the high cold cloud tops, the deep convection associated with such cumulonimbus clouds. But we definitely even got the grays, the whites, the purples in there that indicate the highest on the scale in terms of deep convection. And we had the sparkling white. That's how we represent some amount of lightning strikes, if not lightning flashes. It was definitely a bad situation during the afternoon hours across especially southwestern Jamaica, Westmoreland, Hanover, St. Elizabeth, Manchester, Clarendon definitely got some of the action. We even got some rainfall across the southeast, across sections of St. Thomas, section of St. Andrew, section of St. Catherine, got some of the action too. And we definitely have some of the comments coming in from some of our followers. By the way, even after that, the Cuban Doppler radar images were shown to highlight the extent of the heavy rainfall. By the way, we know the greens represent some light to moderate rainfall. The yellows and the oranges represents some heavy rainfall. And look at this huge string of heavy rainfall that headed into portions of Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth, and Hanover. That just confirmed what we saw on the infrared satellite image that we just saw. We also saw the rainfall that was coming into portion of St. Thomas. I definitely got wet. By the time I got home from work, I was definitely soaked. I got some rainfall for sure coming into my portion of St. Thomas during the afternoon. Definitely saw a huge shelf cloud, strong winds, gust front, then the heavy rainfall took place for sure. And if we take a look at some of the comments coming in, 3 hours ago on our Twitter page, we had Kay stating strong wind and rain in Westmoreland. Drummer Boy, 3 hours ago as well, stating windy and rainy in Savannah Lamar. Even on our Facebook page, we had the comments coming in. Kiki Thomas, South Manchester started raining. Sash Shay stating rain just started here in St. Elizabeth. Cole Nolan Nicola stating freak storm in the west. Shanique Spence stating rain in Saint. And even if we take a look here at our Instagram page, we have some comments coming in. Mrs. _ Tanisha _ Zamora stating crazy like a storm happening in Savannah Lamar, Westmoreland. Hot Diva 114 stating got a moderate downpour not long ago. We also had a comment coming in here. Designer Pride stating wind and rain has begun in St. Catherine. Kimes Hugh stating rain in Mandeville. And finally we have T. Paridon stating raining in St. Thomas, and Dean Lewis 8275 stating heavy rain and strong winds in south. So that indeed confirms the rainfall that was experienced this afternoon. And if we take a look at See Jamaica's YouTube channel at around 3:35 p.m., this was the order of the day for the most part. Mostly cloudy with some dots of blues here and there in the sky to signal that the sun was trying to peek out, but not entirely. Didn't feel as hot as some of our many sunny days. We're indeed grateful for that, but we saw that we didn't get in on much rainfall. This was, by the way, as of 3:39 p.m. this afternoon. And keep in mind that if you'd like to see more live streams like this, just visit See Jamaica on YouTube. They also have live streams of Halfway Tree, the Kingston Harbor, Barbican, you name it, and they're planning on increasing the amount of cameras that they have across the island. So subscribe from now. If we take a look at the very latest infrared satellite image that just came out, let's see. The very latest one that just came out as of 45 minutes past the hour. So this one just came out, let's see, about 9 minutes ago, if I'm not mistaken. And we can definitely still see that we have the high cold cloud tops across especially Western Jamaica. We can see the deep convection right there to the southwest of the island for sure. Waters to the southwest of us getting some bad weather. If there are fishermen out at sea right now, they're definitely getting it as we speak. And if we match the latest Cuban Doppler radar images to what we're seeing right here on the infrared satellite image, this Cuban Doppler radar just came out at 8:40 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 7:40 p.m. Jamaica time. So 14 minutes ago, if I'm not mistaken. Alright, so we see that we can match the heavy rainfall right there to the southwest of the island. We see the dark greens, we see the yellows, the oranges, even some slight reds in there that indicate the heavy rainfall to the southwest of us for sure. We can also see some leftover rainfall from what affected us this afternoon, still affecting portions of Hanover, Westmoreland, maybe even section of St. James as we speak. We can also see some rain right there across the waters to the south of St. Elizabeth at one point. And we can also make out some isolated shores right there to the south of St. Catherine. Who knows, maybe some of that might make it on shore, maybe across Clarendon, if not St. Catherine later on. And we can also see a string of moisture right there stretching from Portland northwestward. If we take a look at the latest, let's see if we can find the latest camera from Crossroads. Let's see what's happening right now. We don't see much happening right now at all. By the way, the Doppler radar from the Guantanamo Bay Cuban military site is showing that string of moisture right there from Portland right there, just to confirm what we just saw on the Cuban Doppler radar images. Nothing drastic taking place across Cuba or near Haiti at all at this time. But if we take a look at the Cayman radar, the Cayman radar was definitely buzzing within the last 48 hours. Lots of moisture associated with Helene passing through. We can definitely still see this string of moisture going through the area from south to north, as well as that string of moisture that's affecting a portion of western Jamaica. That's just going to be the order of the day until the system is out of the Caribbean. So looking back at the live camera from See Jamaica's YouTube channel, the latest crossroads cam confirming fair conditions across the east. Kingston definitely gonna be fair for right now, but who knows, maybe some rainfall later on tonight, maybe some rainfall later on tomorrow morning. I know lots of you guys wouldn't mind the early morning rainfall to prevent you from going to work or school, but we just have to take these forecasts with a grain of salt. They're definitely hard to predict sometimes. We might see the rainfall on the supercomputer model forecast, and instead of the rainfall, we're getting more cloud cover, more of the rainfall out at sea, or the rainfall is actually in store, or it's actually coming to our area, but not at the times that we want it to. So we usually get what rainfall maybe in the afternoon, the evening, the early morning, and not during the day, or vice versa. So we have to take these forecasts with a grain of salt. But I'll definitely be here to keep you posted with what occurs as it is happening. Alright, so if we take a look at the temperatures right now, we can see 27 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 26 degrees Celsius in Kingston. And by about 4 a.m. on Wednesday, temperature should dip down to about 27 degrees Celsius in both Montego Bay and Kingston. Let's see if this is accurate, because you know these things go, they're not 100% set in stone, they're not 100% to scale. We see 24 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 26 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay on the GFS forecast of 4 a.m. on Wednesday. We'll see how that goes. If we take a look at the temperature forecast for tomorrow, this map from the GFS is valid for 18th on Wednesday. When calculated, that's about 1 p.m. on Wednesday. And we see Jamaica for the most part in some gray colors, and we know the gray colors are representative of average temperatures, and it would make sense that average temperatures are still in the forecast. We can see the spiraling still going around the system Helene, so we might just still be getting in on more overcast skies, if not some amount of rainfall across the island tomorrow, making way for average temperatures instead of the above normal temperatures that we've been experiencing for a majority of the month. By the way, we know that the average temperatures for the month of September across Jamaica are about 90 degrees Fahrenheit. When calculated, 90 degrees Fahrenheit is about the same as 32.2 degrees Celsius. So we should be receiving that 32 or maybe less, especially where we have the rainfall to cool down the temperatures for temperatures on Wednesday. Either way, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't stay hydrated as much as you possibly can. Always stay away from the caffeine, the alcohol. Eat more fruits. Eat more vegetables. Can't go wrong with watermelon, apples, grapes. And stay hydrated by drinking lots of water. Even if you're not thirsty, if you think you're hungry, drink water instead. Alright, so let's just take a look at the surface map of, well, not the surface map, the Saharan dust forecast for 2 p.m. on Wednesday. And we can see that we still are in the clear. There's a lot of moisture across the area. The clouds don't have anything to contend with at all. Yes, there might be some dry air here and there, maybe some dry air, especially to the northwest of Helene. But it's nothing significant like what the Saharan dust would have caused. We know the Saharan dust can definitely choke off these systems in general, and most of the Saharan dust should be right there across the northeastern portions of the main development region, as well as across sections of Africa. And we're indeed grateful that we're not getting in on any of that across Jamaica. We know it causes hazy skies, and it also triggers asthma, sinusitis, some respiratory illnesses in some persons. So we're grateful for the lack of it. If we take a look at the wave forecast for tomorrow, it makes sense that our highest waves are where we have Helene, and this is for tomorrow. We see the purples, we see the burgundies all the way up to what, maybe 6, maybe 7 meter wave heights, and it makes sense because the strongest winds are gonna be there, circulating anti-clockwise around Helene's center of circulation. We expect 25 knots or more, 30 knots, maybe 35, 40, all the way up to tropical storm force around its center. We see across the Caribbean an easterly flow at first across the eastern to the central Caribbean, then curving northward. So we're still going to be getting in on those spiral bands coming in from the southeast, more isolated shores across especially southern Jamaica with the low level flow, and we can see the close up especially confirming this, the low level flow coming in from the southeast, which means the clouds are going to be coming in from the southeast, which means that we're going to be getting on more rainfall across especially southern Jamaica, and maybe during the afternoon some afternoon rainfall across northern Jamaica. That's where the area is going to be piling up, so look out for that during the afternoon if we actually get that daytime heating, that diurnal convection for sure. And if we actually take a look at the actual rainfall forecast maps now, this is why we're here. This is what we all want to see, where and when it's going to be raining. Let me first say, please take this forecast with a grain of salt, because we saw what happened in yesterday's forecast. We saw a lot of blues that represent rainfall at so and so time, and then not much rainfall throughout the day today. More cloudy conditions than anything else. As I've said before, we have to take these forecasts with a grain of salt. But I'm still going to be looking at the consensus of what the Euro and the GFS malls are showing. So don't hang your hat on these forecasts at all. We might wake up to sunny conditions. We might wake up to cloudy conditions. We might wake up to rainfall. All courtesy of an outer band from Helene. We just have to take these forecasts with a grain of salt. Either way, Wednesday at 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 2 a.m. Jamaica time, we see the Euro model showing the blues represent rainfall across western and southern, maybe eastern Jamaica. And we see that on both the Euro and the GFS models. So with that southeasterly flow, we might just be getting on some isolated shores across some southern parishes at that time. Or maybe it's just cloud cover. Skipping ahead to about 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, it's actually 5 a.m. Jamaica time. Much of the same. Blues that represent rainfall across southern Jamaica. We see it's the same areas highlighted: Manchester, Clarendon, St. Catherine, maybe Kingston, St. Thomas, Eastern Portland. Skipping ahead to about 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 9 a.m. Jamaica time. The Euro has more of the blues across especially southern Jamaica for sure. See, anywhere from St. Thomas westward. Kingston, St. Andrew, St. Catherine, Clarendon, Manchester, St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, Hanover getting in on the mix. GFS not that impressed. We see the blues, especially off the south coast across the sea. We see the blues that represent rainfall across Manchester, Clarendon, Western St. Catherine, St. Thomas. As I've said before, it could just be cloud cover and not necessarily anything that drastic in terms of rainfall. As we head into the afternoon, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 2 p.m. Jamaica time, we still see the blues represent rainfall across southern Jamaica. Anywhere from Manchester eastward, Clarendon, St. Catherine, Kingston, and St. Andrew, St. Thomas, even portions of Portland getting in on the mix. GFS showing something similar for that time period. We also see some blues right there off to the northwest of the island that represent rainfall. Then by 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 6 p.m. Jamaica time, we start to see most of it dying down on the Euro model. Still see some blues represent rainfall across the waters on the south coast as well as on land across coastal areas. GFS a bit more robust with that rainfall for that time period across southern and eastern parishes. Either way, it makes sense that both accumulated precipitation forecasts are showing the much in the way of rainfall within the next 24 hours, especially across southern Jamaica. This map from the Euro and this map from the GFS are both showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until 3Z on Thursday. When calculated, that's all the rainfall that's expected from now up until 10 p.m. on Wednesday. And we do see the rainfall as indicated by the greens, the yellows, oranges, the reds, all the way up to 1 inch of rainfall in the red. We see it on the Euro right here, especially for sections of southern St. Elizabeth, Manchester, southwestern Clarendon. GFS has the most rainfall in the red right there across western Jamaica, maybe western Hanover, western Westmoreland, maybe Negril for sure getting in on the brunt of it. Either way, we see the consensus. Southern Jamaica getting in on the most of the rainfall, and it all makes sense because of that southerly flow being caused by Helene, everything being drawn into Helene, which explains why southern Jamaica is getting the brunt of the rainfall. Yes, there has been rainfall across portion of northern Jamaica, but not like what's being experienced across southern Jamaica at all. So it's kind of like Mother Nature is making up for what we've been missing on the south coast, because we know that most afternoons, especially in August, September, we've been getting most of the rainfall across northern Jamaica for sure, especially during the afternoon with the daytime heating. So it's a bit nice to be getting in on some rainfall finally on the south coast to cool down the temperatures and keep the water in our pipes for sure. And we see the maps right here. Clearly, Montego Bay sees more rainfall throughout the year. Almost 7 inches of rainfall for the month of September in Montego Bay. Almost 100 millimeters of rainfall, which is actually about 4 inches of rainfall in Kingston. By the way, 7 inches of rainfall is about the same as 175 millimeters of rainfall. And keep in mind that if you'd like to find out about your specific parish and what you guys receive annually, you can visit weatherandclimate.com, and you can use this little graphic right here representing rainfall from millimeters to inches. We know that 25 millimeters of rainfall is about the same as 1 inch of rainfall on the rain gauge, so you can do the calculations yourself. Alright, so that's it for the forecast across Jamaica. Let us focus our attention on the rest of the Caribbean. So as stated, we have a lot of moisture coming into portion of the Eastern Caribbean associated with that tropical wave. We have a lot of moisture associated with Helene. I mean, look how big Helene is. Definitely fanning out in all directions, breathing in general. Lots of shower and thunderstorm activity starting to fire up around the center. And as stated by the Hurricane Center, rapid intensification is definitely possible regarding the system. Definitely doing a number right now on portions of the Yucatan Peninsula, sections of western Cuba. The Cayman Islands definitely got it today. Definitely saw some pictures coming out showing what took place. Jamaica, especially western Jamaica, got lashed, especially this evening. Sections of Central America still getting in a lot of rainfall with the broad area flow pressure across the area. And we're from Guatemala eastwards, El Salvador, Honduras, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, section of Panama getting in some of the rainfall too. So too northern Colombia, northwestern Venezuela, section of Guyana and Suriname getting in some of the action as well. And if we take a look at the Doppler radar images of the northeastern Caribbean to confirm what's happening right now, you can definitely see some rainfall in and around the Leeward Islands for sure. Antigua and Barbuda, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Martin, especially to the east of the US and British Virgin Islands. Some rainfall right there off to the southeast and to the north of Puerto Rico. And if we take a look at these images from earlier today, we can see that we definitely had some rainfall across portions of the Dominican Republic as well as central and western portions of Haiti. If we take a look at the Barbados radar, we can make out some of the rainfall associated with the tropical wave, especially to the northeast of Barbados. Some heavy rainfall as represented by the blues, the greens, the yellows. You can also see the rainfall right there to the west of Barbados. That's affecting portion of St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. You can also see some rainfall to the south of there and to the east of Trinidad and Tobago. So maybe some of that might make it into Trinidad and Tobago later on tonight, if not tomorrow. And if we take a look at the weather view of Doppler radar images, we can see some rainfall across sections of southern Florida, sections of the Bahamas, sections of western Cuba associated with Helene, lots of rainfall across the Yucatan Peninsula associated with Helene, some rainfall right there across southeastern Nicaragua associated with the bands trying to wrap into Helene. And we can also see some isolated spots of shores across Colombia, northwestern Venezuela as well. And that's really where the rainfall is expected within the next 24 hours. And this map from the Euro and this map from the GFS are both showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until 3 on Thursday. That's all the rainfall that's expected from now up until 10 p.m. on Wednesday. We can definitely see that the heaviest rainfall should be where you have the purples and the pinks, all the way up to 3, maybe even up to 6 or 7 inches of rainfall. And we see the consensus that the brunt of the heaviest rainfall across Costa Rica, western Nicaragua, El Salvador, the Cayman Islands, the Yucatan Peninsula, western Cuba for sure. We see the brunt of it on both the Euro and the GFS malls. We can also see the greens, the yellows, the oranges across portions of Florida, the Bahamas, section of central and eastern Cuba, Haiti and the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, section of the Leeward Islands in general, Anguilla, Antigua and Barbuda, Guadeloupe, Dominica, Martinique, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and Grenadines, Grenada, Barbados, Trinidad and Tobago as well. If we scroll down, we can see some isolated showers affecting portions of Guyana as well. Not as robust on the GFS mark, but we do see some rainfall in store for Venezuela, sections of Colombia, Panama as well. And we know that when both maps from the Euro and the GFS malls are in consensus like this, the chances of it actually happening are much higher. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.